Hi, I am Michael Wolff. I'm a jazz pianist and composer. I perform all over the world. I just got back from Europe. I play with my own trio. I played with Ronnie Cuber, with a quartet for him. I'm playing a lot in New York City now at Zinc Bar, Vanguard, Knickerbocker, wherever. And I'm also teaching the R&B ensemble at the New School for jazz, contemporary jazz and contemporary music. So I'm doing a lot of different things. And I'm raising a couple of crazy rock and roll star actor kids. And so that takes up a lot of my time. And my wife is an actress and a writer. She's now getting ready to do a big play in LA. And so we're back and forth. We mainly live in New York City. So I'm just basically just try to keep, when you see those people in the swimming pool and they're treading water, and that's what I'm trying to do, keep above water. Well, jazz is when I'm the most comfortable thing that I do. The happiest I ever am is sitting at the piano, usually in a group, playing jazz and improvising. It's my most comfortable moment. I have Tourette's syndrome, so I always felt like the piano was the place for me. When I touch that piano, I can be as impulsive as I want. I don't have to worry about being good or nice or repressing myself, or and I can just be totally instinctual. It's the most free that I ever feel. So jazz, just for my own selfish personal thing, is the most important thing for me. But I do a lecture on a thing where I just say you can live your life with the jazz concept, and the jazz concept to me is to study really hard, learn everything you can academically, scholastically, learn all the forms, learn all that, and then do what you feel in the moment. You improvise. And I think that's the way that I like to approach life. Well, I'm so lucky because I got to go on the road very young. At 19 years old, I joined Cal Jader's band, a Latin jazz vibist, actually Swedish. Then I went from Cal to Airto Moreira and Flora Purim, and I played with them for a year. Fantastic learning of Brazil right when it was happening in 1974. Yeah, Mike, we're going to play some 7/4. Airto was very fun. Airto, man. And then the gig that was the most important to me and meant the most important to me was I was the last pianist with Cannonball Adderley. And I played with him in '75. And under a year, he had a stroke while I was in the band. But playing with him, I had grown up loving Miles and Cannon. Those are my two favorite musicians. So I knew all the material. It was his brother Nat on cornet, Walter Booker on bass, and Roy McCurdy on drums. And I was writing all the music for the band, and had he lived, the next album was going to be all my own stuff. But, that was a real blow for my career to have Cannonball die at that time. And, besides how much I loved him, he really believed in me and loved me, and I think the next 5 years would have been super important. Cannonball the man was such a wonderful, loving, enthusiastic guy. I mean, Cannonball, I'll just say he had some personal demons to deal with, as did many people in the business. At that time, in the 70s, we were all into a lot of stuff we shouldn't have been into, and Cannon was right up there. But, I have to say that he was just, he was, I can just be personal. He was so happy with me. He said, you're putting new blood in the blood. And what he was just open and encouraging. And he said, you're so lucky you're not hung up with a bebop style. He said, Quincy Jones and I are trying to get that last foot out of Birdland. He said, bebop is hanging me up. I want to soar with my music, and I'm stuck with this saxophone style. And he was really frustrated. So I was coming from a post-bop thing. I came up more with Bitches Brew and Headhunters, and the straight ahead stuff would have been more like ARC by Chick, and Now He Sings, Now He Sobs, and that kind of stuff, more free, and Keith Jarrett and all that. So for me, I was just writing what I was writing. Zawinul was a big influence on me, as he had been on Cannon. So Cannon was trying to get free, and I was so impressed. When I first joined the band, I said, well, Cannon, I had been in New York, scuffling to learn Moment's Notice and Giant Steps and all the things everybody was learning at the jam sessions. And I said, Cannon, could we play Moment's Notice or Giant Steps? And he goes, no, we don't play exercises on our bandstand. Why don't you write me some music? He says, now John Coltrane was my favorite saxophonist, but those were exercises for him. So I learned a lot from him. He said, play the piano, play what you know all over the piano, and never let anybody tell you how to play. So he would, for me personally, gave me a lot of confidence. And he was a very, learned guy. I mean, he, well-read, had gone to college. He very political. He talked about the Vietnam War all the time. And he showed me that if you talk to the audience, and he talked to the audience a lot. He was really funny. He talked to the audience between songs. He introduced the band. He talked about the politics of the day, local things, whatever was on his mind. But he told me the more you talk to the audience and get them to see your vulnerability and your openness as a person, the further you can take them out musically. So that's one thing I learned, and I did a lot of stand-up and acting and all that, so I love to talk to the audience, and I think that helps. A parent of of a student once asked me, "Do you think my kid learning to play jazz is like becoming a stagecoach driver?" I said, "No, I think you could get a gig as a stagecoach driver."